This version of It's Eric Nagel has been modified from its original broadcast. Content has been edited to fit this platform.
Are you ready? I said, are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again.
This isn't funny.
Time to travel the country and explore what radio has become. A barren wasteland of holes, acts, fugitives, and funsters.
That's so bad.
Wow.
Yes, we are celebrating all the 2 for Tuesday playing, stunt boy having, fake prank call making, parody song singing, phony laughing, prep burger loving, broadcasting boobs from all across the USA. So children, strap in and welcome to Jocktober.
Supplemental.
And thank you, Scott Shannon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of It's Eric Nagel. I am him, and over there in the frozen tundra known as Arizona, say hello to Jordan.
Hi, everybody.
What we're doing this time around is we're going to call this Jocktober Supplemental. Now, we're not in the month that Jocktober normally happens, so that's why it's a supplemental one. It's just something else extra, something new that we're going to throw out there at any random period of time. Hopefully, this will be the first in series of supplemental episodes. I'm hoping you're going to enjoy this. We're bringing some guests onto our show that I know will thoroughly enjoy this and have some insight to the subject at hand. Say hello to David Brody and Christian Bladt.
Hello.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
I'm excited to be here for the first ever Jockvember. This is very exciting.
Yeah.
I was told this was
Jocktober.
October, but no, it's
We're going to model it after car dealership, so it's going to be a jock to remember.
By the way, Eric, I waited until...
Fucking brilliant. 82 more puns. Go.
What are your favorite car puns? So I waited until we started... I waited until we started to show you that I came dressed for the occasion. This is my 1991 Mojo Radio T-shirt, which, by the way, still fits.
Hold on, let's
and
get that on main camera for everybody to see. Look at that.
nice.
I'm amazed the paint hasn't chipped off. What's that?
I didn't have much chance to wear it even back in 1991. So yeah, I think I had won concert tickets and I asked for a T-shirt instead. I forget.
Well, that is impressive, my friend. I'm more impressed that it fits 1991 Christian.
That's right. Well, that probably tells you how slim I was back then. So I couldn't stretch it out. But look, I'm wearing it here on a stream. I don't know if I'm going to wear it out to Costco.
You should.
All right.
You know what? I didn't know we were bringing merchandise and stuff. I've got from my time at PLJ when we did the $1 Million Bank Vault run, when they were doing that promotion. I've got a New Kids on the Block PLJ shirt that I got to go to. I think it was 89. There was a kid I was friends with in elementary school. His mom is what we used to call a prize pig. She knew how to work the phones and won prizes from Walk FM on Long Island, WBLI on Long Island, Z100, PLJ. She knew how to make the rounds with all of that stuff. And we got tickets to go see New Kids on the Block at, I believe it was Nassau Coliseum.
Oh.
And I have the shirt, and it's signed by two members. As they came into Sirius XM, I brought that shirt in to get signed. Joey McIntyre, I forgot, it might have been Donnie. Because Donnie used to show up, by the way, almost every day when Jenny McCarthy was working there to walk her home before going over to Blue Bloods.
Oh, good. Because she's not vaccinated, so you want to make sure she gets home safely.
Yes. And this was before all the hype, and she was proven correctly. Let that sit out there and marinate with everybody. So I have my old PLJ shirt. I should have brought that over, but alas, I did not. I think I have a few Scott and Todd shirts still in there.
I wish.
Throw them up on an auction too. It's like, here's my old Scott and Todd shirt that I used to have to wear when I was interning over there. By the way, I wanted to show you this. There it is. Look at that. 1997. I don't know why I'm wearing a mint or teal sweater, but alas that I am.
That's
and that was
Hanes
me.
Pullover.
That was me when I was working at PLJ in the promotions department, and then got moved up to an extra hand on deck for Scott and Todd before then moving over to Rocky Allen and the Showgram.
If this picture had audio, Todd saying, "Who let this fucking kid in promotions into this picture?"
Yeah, he didn't like me. And I didn't like him either.
Do you think he knew what was coming? He had a sense for it.
Oh my God.
He's going to do a show about me in 30 years, this fuck.
This guy is single-handedly going to destroy my podcast after I single-handedly destroyed the radio station that I was on for 22 years.
Why isn't anybody complimenting me on my Amish beard?
But this was just after his mullet period, because he had a mullet for many years.
Oh, I've seen pictures of that mullet. It's so gross.
Yeah. So, there's Todd, Scott, Naomi DiClemente, and Joe Nolan. So there you go. Proof that I was there. Because sometimes I said that, and they're like, "How are you at all these places?" I'm like, I am. I'll show you a photo. Here it is.
So much like Christian has the Mojo shirt from back in the day. Pull that picture back up. He still has that shirt.
It does look like Joe Nolan is wearing something from the Ross Britton collection. They're very similar body types, and their faces
the face,
are not
the body.
dissimilar. Yeah.
I do love Todd's the jean shirt with acid wash jeans look.
Yeah.
But it looks like he wet his pants by his fly.
Right.
It?
Yeah.
He's got a
I will
taint
say
strip.
this, for the time of the morning that you have to get up to, it does look like he changed in the dark. Is that not to disturb anybody? Because I've done that a few times where all of a sudden I realized I wore two different sneakers, or I had the different socks on because it was in the dark and I thought I laid out everything correctly. Apparently I had not.
He's like, I'll just go ahead and tuck this shirt in with no belt. It's fine.
Yeah.
It'll look good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Todd Pettengill is the focus today on Jocktober Supplemental. Now, we have talked about Todd in the past, and you're probably thinking, it's like, well, what else can there be on Todd that you guys haven't done when you did Jocktober with Opie and Anthony, when we exposed how he was running his podcast on Who Are These Podcasts, where Carl and I did that. Then we did a rehash of some things where I added a couple extra things on this show, which you can go back on the YouTube channel and check out. Well, we're going to revisit some classics. We're going to revisit some stuff that certainly is not aged well. And I'm also going to introduce you to some new videos and original Todd songs. There's a lot to get to, and I'm very excited.
I didn't realize there was Todd Pettengill Sings the Great American Songbook, so I'm very excited.
I thought I'd give you a little treat here. I have the very first official Scott and Todd show. Now, obviously, we're not going to play the whole thing, but I will point out in traditional radio, even though you had a morning show which allowed you to play material that wasn't just the music and talk a little bit longer and what have you, obviously they did custom production, they did phone scams, they did parody songs, they did all of this stuff. When you scope down a 4-hour show, especially in the early 90s, their entire show maybe is about an hour out of the 4.
Wow.
Yeah, because they come back out of break. They hit you with sports highlights, traffic and weather, some news blips, maybe a little conversation of something. But in the early 90s, they were very heavy in giving away things. There was constantly tickets to give away. The promotion department was going to be somewhere on the highways and byways giving out money for super stickers, or they were at a car dealership on Route 3 where you can get your new Mojo radio shirts like Christian has right there. So, yeah, you scoped down a whole show, and it was about an hour. Of a 4-hour show in New York City, you got about maybe 1 hour of talking content, which is insane. When I've posted, because I have a vast archive of things, and every now and then when I start posting things online onto YouTube or wherever, you'll get old radio people or old collectors that will reach out to you and it's like, do you have the air checks unedited? And I said, yeah, but why would I post that? Why wouldn't you post that? Because you don't need to post it. There's hissing from the tapes that I've removed. I've cut out the songs. I've cut out the commercials. I got right to the meat of the show. You kept all the production in and everything else. It's like, why would you cut the songs? Why would I play an old version of Roxette's Joyride on the air check there? When you want to hear the song, go and listen to it yourself.
See, now the commercials, I would say I would love to hear. Like, I could make the argument, hey, do a separate post that's the commercials that you cut out. But yeah, I don't need to hear the music. That's crazy.
It's sometimes, depending what it is, I would keep the live reads in just because it's live content. Why not keep that in there, even though it's a commercial? Maybe I cut out phone numbers or something, but it's there. But yeah, you get some of these, and it's very, very, very minute amount of people that would complain about this, but it's usually, why did you cut the songs? And you look at their air checks that they post, and it's a 3-hour block that has everything. The tape sounds like shit. They don't do anything for it. I'm like, who's enjoying this? Oh, all right. I'm going to steal your air check, clean it up, and put it up on my channel. And look how many more hits that I got now because you didn't know how to do it right. Anyway, so this is the first Scott and Todd show. This goes back to August the 3rd, 1992. Now, Todd had joined a year prior. As we were stating, he was Ross London as a play on Scott's old partner at Z100 and the Morning Zoo, Ross Britton, which was what's the guy's actual name. Todd was Ross London when he was brought in. It didn't last for too long.
And they used the jingles. They used the old Scott and Todd jingles from Z100.
Scott and Ross.
Sorry. Yes, my apologies. Yes, they used the Scott and Ross jingles from Z100.
I was not aware that Scott's original partner was Ross London, a play on his old partner, Ross Britton, because I told you a story, Eric, and I'll tell these guys. On Scott's new channel, the Oldies channel, Scott Shannon.
True Oldies channel.
True Oldies channel. His producer's name is Todd, and I don't think that's real. And Eric says, oh, his name could be Todd. I said, you know the way Scott is. He told this kid, your name is Todd now, so I can boss you around.
No, yeah, it's like how Tony Danza can only play characters named Tony. Scott can only work with someone named Ross or Todd. That's why Jack Murphy didn't last, Eric.
Yes, Scott can only work with people named with the people that he used to work with prior at the previous radio station. So, yeah, Todd's original name was going to be Gnarly Charlie, but that didn't happen.
No, Gnarly Charlie was already there, though, right? Because Gnarly Charlie...
He was at Pirate Radio.
He was at Pirate, yeah.
LA, but he was not in New York, no.
Okay. No. And he had a guy that he wanted to call... Sorry, Brody. He had a guy he wanted to call Bubba the Love Sponge, but the real Bubba the Love Sponge was like, no, you can't do that.
I don't know what the story is. One day I'll talk to the real Bubba the Love Sponge.
He'll answer. If you call, you're not going to voicemail. He will definitely pick up.
I understand.
Is this a job?
After the last video I did on him, he may not want to talk to me. But
I'll call him then. That's fine.
No, at Z100, Scott called somebody Bubba the Love Sponge at Pirate Radio in LA. And then at Z100, they had a promotions guy called Bubba the Love Sponge who would go out and do Super Sticker Patrol. And they would all sit there and it's like, no, let's go to. And they'd all have to yell, Bubba the Love Sponge. Hey, Ross and Gary, I'm out on the corner of blah, 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 looking for a Z100 to get a tight $100 bill to get whatever the whole promo schlock was. Todd.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I do.
Yeah. So Ross London, they were going to do a contest. You said to name him, and then they said, yeah, he already has an audience coming from Albany. We're just going to keep him with his real name, Todd.
Huge Albany audience.
So it was Shannon in the Morning up until this date in 1992, where they officially switched it to Scott and Todd. Now they made the switch, but apparently they only had 1 or 2 sweepers available because they still played Shannon in the Morning stuff. They played a lot of just PLJ IDs. 1, maybe 2, and I think it's the 2 I have here where they say Scott and Todd out of the 4-hour show. Twice it was mentioned, and that was it. So again, this is an air check from there. Again, tight little talk breaks. Todd has to do a parody song sweeper in there. And of course, it's going to end with a phone scam. So from day one, bad phone parodies and phone scams were in effect.
Shannon in the Morning since I returned to New York. But on Friday, in honor of Mr. Pettengill's first anniversary, we've done away with the Shannon in the Morning moniker.
Oh, I'm so happy. I want to kiss you on the mouth.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Come here.
The morning switch is underway to Scott and Todd on PLJ.
You know the production guy or well, Scott was the program director, so I hope it wasn't him, but somebody in management that doesn't understand radio. It's like, it's got to rhyme. It's got to sound like it's a song lyric. It's terrible, even for back then.
Even calling it the morning switch is terrible too. It's all bad.
With Scott and Todd and some young bitch, PLJ. That would have been better.
Actually, it would be great.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
PLJ 710. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, August 3rd, 1992. Scott and Todd in the
Hear the reverb, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Heavy reverb.
morning, live on PLJ.
Did we borrow Cousin Brucey's mic for that?
They were the worst. CBS FM.
Yeah, cousins.
When they were just oldies, they were talking like this all the time. We're live in the high school gym.
New York, time to start.
Hold on. Yep. Here we go. Always has to have a song. Always has to make it all about himself.
Rise and shine, New York, time to start a brand new day. Got your favorite station on the radio. Oh, and did I hear you say you was listening today to Scott and Todd in the morning on WPLJ.
He shoehorns everything and can't get the rhyming scheme correct. He always has to be like, I'm going to just misstep so that you know it's me.
Yeah.
But it's always, this is 92. Doing that kind of song, why wouldn't you do something that was current?
Wait a minute. What song was that a parody of?
Was that Delta Dawn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did a Delta Dawn joke and he played Delta Dawn. So I thought
Look at you being topical and on top of things.
I agree. We needed, like, I don't know, a Color Me Bad parody would have probably worked excellently. I'm sure that Todd has that in his arsenal, or at least he did back then.
A Paula Abdul song she was big in the early 90s.
Sure.
You'll laugh like crazy.
Yeah. Something.
That's not a bad one. I'm going to steal that, Brody.
But
no one else.
You're also going to see, too, that coming up later when we look at some of his song parodies he did for the WWE, of the time, no songs. It's all Todd's parodies were all like, when you remember when they used to sell like home karaoke things at Spencer's and they had the cassette tapes,
sure,
where it would tell you the tracks and what was on there. It was always TV theme songs. It was always like the shit that nobody gave a fuck about. Like they licensed their songs because nobody sang them or played them or anything. He did all this hokey stuff instead of anything current or with bite for the time period. Nothing at all. Look at Brody. He's ashamed. He has that karaoke machine, I'm guessing.
Nope. But that's what I had to write when I was at Z100 at the same time period. Parodies of classic TV show themes. And yeah, because it was recognizable for all generations would know the song. And the only ones that ever got upset were the writers, the people who own the rights to the Welcome Back Kotter theme. They would send a cease and desist constantly. They were not happy about it.
John Sebastian.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
That was the artist who, because that wasn't even a TV theme. That was just a real song that got used as a TV theme song. Yeah.
Right. So we did like, welcome back to the morning show that you laughed about, but whatever. Yeah. It was written before I got there, but there was always a cease and desist not to play it.
Now, see, the crew of Aftermath was just happy someone was talking about him. So,
oh yeah, yeah. I made a parody of the theme song to 60 Minutes. That was a huge hit.
For those who may or may not know, Dave Brody worked for Z100, worked for the Elvis Duran Show, the very popular syndicated morning show, for 20-something years. Like you were there a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's been there. He was there around the time of Scott and Todd in their heyday. He was there when O&A had come and gone and come and gone and come and gone again. There for Howard. He's a staple in New York radio. Christian was the executive producer for Dennis Miller, grew up in New York, listened to all of these shows that were all waxing poetic and reflecting about, and knows all of this useless information like the rest of us there that doesn't apply to anything beneficial in our lives except when we do something like this.
Yeah, I'm only here because Eric has promised me that if I do this show, we're going to do 2 hours on Mr. Leonard. And that's really what I want to be a part of.
That is coming, my friend, because you will not believe the amount of tapes I have of Mr. Leonard bits.
And if I could just add for clarity and for, I not only had parodies on Z100 where I worked, but I also had parodies on PLJ, and I also had parodies on Opie and Anthony. So you mentioned multiple shows. I've written for all of them.
On PLJ? That I didn't know.
So I was selling scripts to Premier Radio, and Premier Radio was the official parody producer for Scott and Todd. So my stuff was being produced by Premier Radio and then ending up back in New York where they would play them. So I would hear my parodies on PLJ, who I didn't really enjoy, and that's why I put a demo together and sent my stuff to Z100, because I thought they were a better radio station and a better morning show. My stuff being on PLJ proved to me that I could get stuff on New York radio, and that gave me the confidence to send a demo to Z100. So thank you, PLJ, for playing stuff you didn't write that I wrote. Thank you very much.
Somewhere, Jim Kerr just has one lone tear going down the side of his streak. Leaving a streak on the side of his cheek, I suppose, is what I was trying to say. The words hurt, Brody.
Wordplay, Yuma.
Listen, I love Jim Kerr, and I've written songs for Jim Kerr, but Jim Kerr was not the morning show at PLJ at the time.
Oh, it was Gary Bryan. Oh, I see.
All right, let's continue on with Scott and Todd.
To Todd, congratulations. It's been 1 year. You guys get better every day. Anna?
By the way, they're reading faxes that are coming in from the audience, wishing them all the best.
They used to brag about how they had a free fax line. It was an 800 number, and it was like, ooh, free fax.
Newark, New Jersey.
Yes.
Thank you for the laughs. You make it easy to get up in the morning.
Thank you.
Just turn on the radio and laugh. And also Fran and Marge from Rockland County says, Dear Todd, you are a great addition to the morning show. Your phone scans have brought a smile on my face many a morning. Hope you're there with Scott for many more years to come.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
Show of hands. Who thinks those are fake faxes?
They're like present day Howard Stern phone calls. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you. Me also. Phone scam time. This is phone scam number 107. A lot of introductory BS here this morning.
We do not, Mr. Shannon. All you need to know is we're calling a veterinary hospital and Wiggles is back.
Oh, no.
The doggy doctor is the name of the scam.
We're not
What's
playing
his fake name?
You're not going to play Wiggles?
No,
I want to hear his fake name. Can we just hear his fake name when he introduces himself with some unbleevable fake name that no one would believe if the call was real?
I trimmed it out.
That's all right.
This is German Shepherd calling.
Nope, that's too clever for him to do. That's way too clever for him.
This is People. I'm calling about your veterinarian service. Yeah, People.
It would be something Kleeman-Klopp. What's your name? Kleeman-Klopp. Like, that's how he would do it to all of the fake voice actors.
By the way, I think people who listen to traditional broadcast radio don't look back and scoff at an earlier era that all this stuff is fake. If you've even once listened to War of the Roses and felt bad for one of the people, you're an idiot.
I was going to say a few weeks back, we did we must have spent an hour just talking about how bad War of the Roses is and how they are, I think they're doing their animated TV show versions of War of the Roses. And it's just like, it's ridiculous how bad that is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say whether they're real or not. Here's what I'll say. It surprises me, and it should surprise anyone that someone who all of a sudden realizes they're being cheated on would decide to have a conversation on the radio in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I can't believe, we're sorry to have to do this to you. Yeah. Oh, thank you, radio DJ. I'm going to yell at my boyfriend now on the radio.
Yeah. It almost sounds like it was pre-recorded in the afternoon and then aired in the morning to present that as if they were live. That's just my session.
Right. And also recorded without the hosts so that call can be played in multiple markets. But let's not get too bogged down. We're here to celebrate Todd Pettengill today.
Correct. So that was the first Scott and Todd, a little glimpse of it. Now, that's all I could pull from 4 hours because it was just nonstop contesting, sports, traffic, news, whatever, and a lot of greatest hits of the 90s at the time.
30 seconds of the phone scam. Pretty please.
Well, he already cut it. He said he doesn't have
this
it.
was an air scoped clip. I didn't.
All right, next episode of this podcast, we'll do it.
All right. I have a phone scam later that we're going to play that does not age well. I don't even think it aged well when it came out.
Does any of this age well, though?
No. It does for us. But
I know you're trying to move on, but Scott did a voice earlier when he's reading the faxes. I haven't been able to hear Scott do a voice since Jocktober. It's ruined Scott for me.
Easy to get up in the morning.
Thank you.
Just turn on the radio and laugh.
That's
one.
it. Yeah, that's the one.
I might
Wait a minute, that wasn't a woman. That was Scott.
That was Scott.
I know.
I might put that as a drop here.
Just turn on the radio and laugh.
There we go.
Is it a
Just
helium
add that to the
voice?
intro of the show.
Yes, that's what happened when he leaned on the machine that accidentally pitches up the music that they play. He pitched up his vocal tracks on that at the same time. So that was August 3rd, 1992. Now, 20-something odd years later, out of nowhere, Scott announces that, hey, tomorrow's going to be the last Scott and Todd show. And he announced it not at 7:20 when the most people were listening, around 9:40 in the morning.
Can I ask, did they not do it at 7:20 because they were doing the big money birthday contest at 7:20? Or
they had
the joke off
the fourth phone scam of the day. They had to play.
I got you. I'm sorry.
But yeah, Todd just like, so tomorrow's going to be my last show. And that was pretty much it. And that was kind of devastating to the New York audience and the radio industry because nobody knew this was coming. What's going on here? Well, the next day, go ahead. Sorry.
And I've told you how I accidentally ended up with Scott's last pirate radio show because my mom randomly was visiting a friend in LA and she recorded it for me. They never said they were leaving. It was like a lot of like jokes that you only realize after the fact. Like he calls his wife. He's like, I might be home a little early today. And then he started everything they were promoting. He was saying like, oh, maybe I'll show up at that event. That sounds like a fun one. So he's really leaning into the fact that they were told they couldn't say. So, but that's a very radio thing, right? Don't tell people that things are going to change because it'll be just enough time for them to change.
Because we don't want the audience to switch channels or go away. We just want them. No, they'll pick it up somewhere down the line, or it won't even matter to them. But as long as they stay here listening, that's what's important.
There's also a fear that people will say the wrong thing, knowing that they're on their way out, that they'll bash the company or curse or do something to screw up the license. So they rarely let people say goodbye. So.
See, that's dumb. They should, because they'd get all kinds of publicity and attention if that happened. But, radio is radio.
And I think you said, when was this? I remember it happening, but so when is it that Scott's like, hey, tomorrow's my last show?
This was 2014. It was in February of 2014. And then they had their last show. They took phone calls and stuff. From what Scott told me, and I think he might have said a little bit when I got him to come on O&A right after that. He said when he decided he was going to, he told the company that he was done. He was resigning. He was going to leave. And they didn't want him to resign, but they said, well, give us some time. Let's do a whole week. We'll do best of throughout the entire Scott and Todd era. We'll have guests. We'll have all of these things. And he goes, no, I want nothing more to do with you guys. Tomorrow's my last show. And then best of luck to you. He does the last show. He walks out 9:40, 9:45. They go into a break or a song or something like that. They're expecting him to come back and say his final goodbye and everything. He left. He took his stuff and he walked out. And they were there. They were there and what have you. So what it was revealed later on was that Todd had been plotting for months behind the scenes that Scott needed to go. The station needed to go in a younger, hipper direction, and he was going to be the guy that leads the way for doing that, and he can't do that with Scott here. He had a whole show and a whole staff working in a different office. They were getting stuff ready. They were practicing. They were doing fake shows. They were doing promotional clips. They were doing all of this stuff so that it was all set and ready to go. When Scott was gone, they could launch this stuff right away. And it looks like, oh my God, they're a multimedia genius, we're dealing with here, that he has all of this stuff. Look how great all of this looks. Scott found out about it and he said, all right, I'm done. If this is the way you're going to treat me and all this stuff there, I've been with that company 23 years, I think. It's like, oh, then I'm done. And he left on his own terms. They bought out his contract, and he went over to CBS FM several months later and kicked their ass. For the next 5 years, he was either number 1, 2, or 3 in the mornings.
So Todd really fancied himself a real Helen Kushnick, is what you're trying to say.
No, Todd fancies himself as Ed McMahon looking at Johnny's seat saying, I need to be sitting there, not Johnny. Johnny can go. So Todd's show, the whole concept of Todd's show was that Todd wasn't going to do anything. Todd was going to be sitting here, and everybody else in the studio would be throwing ideas and topics and stories at Todd, and he would sit there and give his opinions from his high horse. You know, like sitting there, it's like, Todd, I came across this story, blah, 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 blah. What do you think? And this was going to be, you talk to Todd, not how Scott used to run it, where Scott was the tentpole of it. But Scott would lead the charge, bring up all the topics and everything, and then point to you. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Todd reversed that. And it came off terrible because he had all these 20-somethings, early 30-somethings around him that all were going to things and doing things and liking concerts and show and events and all this stuff that Todd doesn't do. Todd doesn't go to this stuff. Todd is a fuddy-duddy compared to all these younger people there. About 2 years into the run, it becomes Todd and Jade because the Todd Show is not working as it is. Todd moves to Texas and does the next 4 years, 3.5 years from Texas without letting anybody know that he does not live in New York anymore. At least the audience has
Which
no
could not
idea.
have made the rest of his show any happier.
No, they were not, where they'd have to come in the morning and do all of this stuff here. And he just logs in, talks a little bit, and then he's gone. Like he didn't really
but they
do
were
a
happy.
whole
They were very happy he wasn't there anymore. That's my point. They were annoyed he wasn't coming in, but also happy he wasn't there. They were very happy he wasn't there. And I'll tell you, once he moved to Texas, the rest of the mice on the ship were scurrying to find a way to replace him. They were trying to find a way to get him out, which, as Eric, I'm jumping ahead, they may have, right?
Right. Yeah, some left. Some went on to bigger careers. Annie left the show and she wound up a station up in the Hudson Valley and then came down to do, oddly enough, she took over for Scott Shannon's morning show when Scott retired and he left. She joined the show there. Sheila on the show.
At WCBS, that show?
Yeah. Okay. Annie went over there. Sheila Watko went, and she's a major NBC talent for NBC Philadelphia. In fact, she gets a lot of viral attention because she does traffic and weather for like their local Today show and what have you, where she will work song titles of like Taylor Swift and other artists and stuff into the descriptions as she's telling traffic, whatever. And like she's huge now. Like she's really big for NBC. She's big online and all that stuff. Jade went to Apple Music and she's doing mornings over there. She's doing fine. Anyway, bring this back to the first Todd show. Todd does this ridiculous speech to start off the new era of Todd's show. From what I've found out from people who work there, nobody except his producer knew this was a thing. They all walked in and had to sit there and go and pretend this was good. This big, pompous speech that he put up on there. We actually, it was more famous on Opie and Anthony than it was on his own show. They never referenced it again. But to this day, it is synonymous. When you say Todd Pettengill, you think bad phone scam names, you think WWE in your house, and you think the term battle-tested microphones.
And hallowed halls.
And the hallowed halls of legends that have walked. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, the enduring moment, I know it's how he punctuates it, but you can't be serious, XM.
This radio station has been home to some of the greatest broadcasts in the history of our industry. The ghosts of legends walk these hallowed halls, and the whispers of greatness can be heard at every sunrise. Yet there are some people who say that what we're attempting to do can't be done. that you can't save a dying industry or reinvent a medium whose time has seemingly passed.
Okay.
It feels like a really bad, like, you're watching like a bad like a documentary or some kind of like puff piece.
Or it's like terrible. They're like getting to meet the athletes during the Olympics.
That's what I was.
Has like some family tragedy. Every single one of those ding on the piano is like that's really supposed to resonate with us.
That's also where the editors are led for cut scenes. Mm-hmm. Every time there's a ding, you see an athlete lacing up his shoes. Ding, another athlete sitting like this with sweat coming off their face. Showing the hardships and the triumphs that they're going through. All this shit, over dramatic. Schlock.
Really dramatic.
It's like the third break on the old VH1 Behind the Music, but coming up, tragedy struck.
Not everything was as good as it seemed.
That's right.
They believe that satellite and digital radio have already robbed us of our audience.
Okay. Yes, that was true.
Right.
And now flash forward. This was 2014. February 24th, 2014. At the time, satellite and digital, yes, did rob them of their audience. Satellite, not so much anymore, but digital has still been a nail in the coffin for traditional broadcast radio. Maybe not. There's not enough personalities on the radio anymore, but the music isn't going to help as much as they keep thinking music is going to help. It's done the damage and is continuing to do the damage today. And he thought he was going to lead the charge of revitalizing radio, and we're going to start this new revolution to show us that we're still on top. And again, couldn't not have been more in a bubble, not understanding what was going on in the world and in the industry that he was at this time sitting on the top of.
I think another far more successful and influential broadcaster got in his head. Rush Limbaugh used to always say that he had talent on loan from God. And Todd probably heard that like, oh, yeah, just like me.
I'm amazed he didn't steal that.
He probably could.
Now that I'm thinking about that, he could have. Well, Rush wasn't dead at that point. So.
No. Rush was huge at the point where
he was still
2014.
Doing that. So that's probably best that he didn't.
Excellence in Broadcasting was his company. Todd was like a little late.
Our best days are behind us. Well, I got news for you. These battle-tested microphones could tell 1,000 stories, but none greater than the unwritten story about to be told.
They're all just like rusted and just you've spun a yarn.
That doesn't make any sense.
Not one.
All right, these battle-tested microphones could tell tales. Okay, but no tale greater than the one that hasn't been told yet. That doesn't make any sense.
I think
it means the best stories are still to come. The microphone's not telling you that.
You know what
the microphones change every 6 months. So what is he talking about?
Yeah, the only battle-tested microphones are the ones that they flew out to Nam to cover it, and those are battle-tested. And I guess the one where the guy said, "Oh, the humanity" as the Hindenburg exploded.
Yeah,
but I don't know that the old Larry Berger installed microphones. Boy, if only they could talk.
You know what stories those microphones tell you? The terrible cigarette and coffee breath of Scott Shannon, Gary Bryan, and Jim Kerr. That's what those microphones tell you.
And I make you this promise on the 20.
Oh, wait. I want to go back to
these
there it is.
Well, I got news for you. These battle-tested microphones could tell 1,000 stories, but none greater than the unwritten story about to be told. And I make you this promise on the 24th day of February 2014. I say to those people and others like them, you are wrong. And here's why.
Imagine this is the speech he gave in the boardroom to who owned the station? Cumulus at the time. Sitting there and goes, let me tell you why I need to be in charge. And we're going to take this younger. We're going to go to the streets. We're going to take it to the doors of Z100 and KTU. We're going to compete face to face and show them this is what live and local is about. And then did none of it. Did absolutely none of it.
As I speak to you just after 6 a.m. on a typical Monday morning, somewhere out there is a mom who's been up all night with a sick kid, or a dad who's coming home from his second job who just wants to take a minute to laugh with someone who feels like family.
All right. That is like those late night infomercials when they're asking you to donate to like UNICEF or some kind of cause that's, some disease that's infecting people.
Honey, I know you have 103 temperature and you're vomiting, but I got to put Todd on the radio. So if you could stop crying and sneezing and coughing.
You know what I could use? A laugh right now.
Yeah. Honey, I know that chemo's not working, but don't worry. There's a new Wiggles call. Let's heal together.
Wait, you know what? I've heard what the best medicine is. It's laughter. Let's put Todd on.
It's not that medicine that we're giving to the kids, despite the tubes being in the kids' ears from an ear infection and colicky. It's a phone scam. That's what's going to heal us all.
Jimmy, take the needle out of your arm with the chemotherapy. Come here and listen to Todd and his phone scams and his song parodies. That'll cure you. That'll kill those fast-growing cells in your body.
He's calling a hospital. He's going to scam him. His name is Fluman Douglas. So stupid.
I believe they want to know that the people in this room feel what they feel, live what they live, and see what they see. And you can't do that in some windowless, colorless, passionless makeshift studio that used to be a coat closet.
That is the office for months leading up till the end of Scott and Todd that he hid this new staff. They all told me that where they were stuck to work, the office had no windows. They were all stuck in these two rooms right there. There you go. That was the first staff, which
that was the law firm picture.
Yeah, most of them didn't last that long.
That looked like a 90s sitcom.
So when he said, when you do this, a colorless, windowless window, you did that for months before the show started.
He was just looking over and describing the room he was looking at when he was saying this.
Yeah. Hello, this is Chick and Pox. I'm calling hospital, please. It's Chick.
He's staring up at the yellowing drop ceiling that's there because of the dripping from the poorly cleaned out viaducts for the air conditioning.
I, for one, don't believe that the people of the tri-state area want to listen to some dillweed who doesn't know the difference between a TV show and the real Jersey Shore.
From Texas.
Some dillweed.
Dillweed.
Did he say from Texas?
No. He said from Texas.
If he did say from Texas, that's foreshadowing.
Only because my old boss Elvis is from Texas, so I thought maybe he was taking a shot.
No.
I didn't even think of that.
Just Todd was in Texas.
Todd was looking to move as he was recording this.
I don't want some morning show guy from Texas doing the
Todd
show.
turning his news up at TV personalities, where it's probably worth mentioning just how many Todd or Scott and Todd or Todd and Jade clips ended up on that Dish Nation show. Yeah. Todd had no time for television.
I like how the music's gradually getting way more dramatic than it needs to be for this.
I feel like he's in a helicopter flying over Nam.
Or he's making that speech before they go fight the aliens in Independence Day.
No, I
love the smell of napalm in the morning. These battle-tested microphones have been hit with napalm.
They can tell a story or two.
From what I understand, he's trying to recreate some kind of moment from, there was a movie called We Are Marshall.
Sure.
It was a college football movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, about the team that died in a plane crash.
Right.
Spoiler
Wait,
alert,
they did?
buddy.
I didn't know what the story was.
Yeah, the entire football team, right? Football team died in a plane crash.
Yep. Oh. And they had to rebuild. So the story is like what happened after the fact. I think it was like a Matthew McConaughey.
It's basically if Leonard Skinner played football.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I thought they were just like, hey, how can we do a live, but for the present day audience? Let's do a college football team.
So to paraphrase a scene from one of my favorite movies, this is our opportunity to rise from the ashes and grab glory.
Rise from the ashes that you caused because you kicked out your meal ticket from the last 23 years. Now, here's the thing with Scott and Todd, and I've said this forever. They were never the number one show. For a while, they were up close, but they were never the number one show. But they were always within the top 10 to an extent. But the thing was, they billed very high. So the fact that they were billing so much money, the ratings didn't matter what they were doing. They were bringing in a lot of money so they could do whatever they want. And they were getting blue chip advertisers. They had Toyota, they had Buick, they had McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Disney, Universal Studios. They had all of those things.
Geritol.
That was later.
So not just Nutrisystem and Snapple is what you're trying to tell me.
They weren't selling,
Pinnacle
lifetime
honey
supply
goat
buckets, any of that stuff.
We are
New York,
We are
New Jersey,
We are
Connecticut?
Island,
We are
Connecticut? Come on.
Okay,
Hold on. He doesn't
Who
even.
naturally cheers like that? Nobody says New York. You say New York. You don't say New Jersey.
No, it sounds like late 80s. Remember when they used to do like the hype chants in rap songs in the background, like for Wu-Tang or Onyx or something like that? It's like, just you guys go into the studio and just yell this. Now yell this. Now yell this. We'll mix it all into the song and make it sound like it's legitimate. The mixing is terrible. The energy level sucks, because if he's supposed to be doing this rally cry to get the team pumped, he'd be going, we are. Like he'd build the energy with them. He's just going, we are.
And by the way, because I've done enough voiceover work to know that's not a large group of people. That's 3 or 4 people changing their voices and layering it over itself. There's people in there going, New York. If you listen again, it's like people feminizing their voice and making their voice sound like a child. They sound like a big group.
Right.
The lack of passion tells me that those were local hires there in Texas. I think that that's why they didn't know how to yell New York.
Yeah, New Jersey, y'all.
We are
New York,
We are
New Jersey,
New Jersey.
Long Island,
We are
Connecticut.
We are you. Turn off your Spotify.
Where
shut
you?
down your Pandora, and you can't be serious, XM. New York's hometown radio station is back. It's time to show them how it's done.
By single-handedly tanking the company and selling your station for pennies on the dollar to the Christian network.
Yeah.
WPL Jesus.
Yeah, you sold it to K-Love, fully undervalued for what it was ever worth.
Yeah, well, I wonder, you might not know this specifically, but their ratings were probably okay the day he did that, because Scott was still there in the most recent ratings.
And
book.
people listening in to like, well, they'll hear the first day, maybe the first week, to give it a chance, see what it is. After that, down.
And this is 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
The station was sold in 2019. So within 5 years, 2 show changes, he tanked the entire station.
Yeah. Well, you know, don't say he never did anything, Eric.
Oh, he did.
That's quite an accomplishment.
Now, I want to point this out too. Here's a little sweeper that he was playing during the Todd Show run. There was a couple of other ones, but I only have this one. Imagine playing this back then, but also imagine this airing now.
This is the program rich kids in Greenwich listen to while they scream at the illegal alien getting them dressed for school.
What is wrong with you?
The Todd Show in the morning. 95.5 PLJ.
Can you believe that?
That's 2014?
2014.
I mean, wow. I are you sure you didn't accidentally play production from Compound Media?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
We didn't have that kind of budget.
Okay.
But could you believe he had content like this? And it was going on for a while. There was that. There was something that was... Now, that station appealed towards... was the big audience was soccer moms. There was stuff that was making fun of women. There was stuff that was making fun of minorities over there. It's like, is this Howard? Is this us? Is this, something along those lines? No, this is Todd Show doing that?
Well, it sounds to me like you're saying the show wasn't all bad, Eric. But the thing is, like, look, I'd lived in LA for 10 years at this point, but my understanding was that, people I'd grown up with, they listened to Z100 when we were in middle school, and they listened to it probably still today. And I guess the people who listened to PLJ, it was more like, I don't really want top 40. You know, it was like, I want current music. Is that so? That was the impression that it really was for soccer moms. But you guys still lived there, so tell me if that's accurate.
PLJ was top 40 without the hip hop. It was really adult contemporary. So
at one point, it was no rap, no hard stuff.
Oh, I remember that. No rap, no hard stuff. Yeah.
Right. So no hard stuff, by the way, referred to Todd.
But when Scott was there, they would play that song Black Cat by Janet Jackson. That's how you knew that they had room for the hard stuff.
I was going to play him crying on his last show, but that goes on for a while. So I think I'm just going to.
How about a little bit of
it? Give us a little
crying. You don't have to play the whole thing, but
a little taste of the salty tears. Come on.
And his last show is that the last show of the station where they had Scott do most of it, or are those separate shows?
No, I have it here. I was just trying
to hear him. I just want to hear him. We don't need the whole thing. I just need a little of him crying.
Okay.
Little battle tested cry here.
Yeah, that's what gets me up in the morning after I've worked my 2 jobs and my kids are sick. The notion that I could listen to Todd Pettengill crying in the morning.
That just gets me up for whatever reason. Like if I'm feeling down, it's like I need a bit of a bit of a pick me up.
Tommy, get in your wheelchair. Roll over here. Todd's crying. You got to hear this.
I want to thank all of you.
Jesus Christ.
Elvis Presley.
I've never heard this.
All right, shut up. Let him cry.
Shut up. I want to thank all of you guys.
Battle tested tissues.
I didn't think, there's been a lot of changes, and I took a lot of personal blame for what happened after the radio station, and tried to build a new team to move forward, and couldn't have had a better one.
Yeah, you could have, because you'd still be employed and the station would still be around.
Yeah, I think that the end result shows you that you could have had a much better team, and it wouldn't have been too difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a team without him on it would have been a better team.
Look,
hey, you know where the better
having a hard time.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'm just emotional. It's hard to hear this. Wow. Okay.
Brody,
I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
Can I tell you where the better team was? Across the street at CBS FM.
Right.
Whoa. The better team was across the street at C100. What are you talking about?
No. You guys were not associated to this.
Yeah, but for your point, yes, there were better teams in a lot of places. KTU had a better team. Hot 97 had a better team. Even WCBS. And of course, 10-10 wins. Everybody had better teams.
The New York Jets had a better team.
All right, that's crazy. No, stop. All right. You had me, and then you lost me.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't... When Jade came in, obviously it was an adjustment, and we, two strong-willed personalities. And
they hated each other.
We just put all that aside and became friends.
No,
they did not.
And I respect you, and I appreciate
no, you don't.
the things you brought out in me.
No, you don't.
It was like a year after his little battle speech.
She brought out anger and jealousy and animosity.
And a quarter of his paycheck, probably.
I'm sorry.
I thought you paused it. No, he was just composing himself.
That's why I said this is too long, because I'm looking at the waveform. There's long gaps of him going like that before he even starts talking again.
Time you need.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to hear all of it. I really want to hear all of it.
No.
Yeah.
Listen, here's Jade. Jade is just sticking the knife into him. Because again, he's not there. He's in Texas doing this. So he's not in studio. Jade is probably just sitting back off camera so he can't see her like this, doing the jerk off motion or something. But listen to her voice cadence here when she starts talking.
Before you play it, she's like, take all the time you need. I'll still be here tomorrow. So, it's fine. Go ahead. Take the time you need.
Take the time you need. She puts her headphones down, goes to the bathroom, just leaves the mics on and let him go.
I'm sorry.
Here.
I'm sorry.
Take all the time you need. Yeah.
We had a nickel every time Todd cried.
It's like nothing's bothering her about it.
Not a thing.
Todd to cry one time. Remember on his birthday.
Okay, so we'd have 10 cents. Okay.
We'd have 10 cents.
And, so thank you, Jade.
He's still like breaking down. They're just joking.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Annie, I said to Mark, when I first heard you, I said, this girl's going to be a superstar. And just the way you are. I mean, I knew it immediately. And
thanks, Billy Joel.
You proved that to be true.
I'm
And
skip
if anybody in radio
no, that's
is
fine.
listening,
Yeah. And she's thinking like, oh yeah, the first time I heard you, I knew you were a hack.
Listen to this part. He's trying to give endorsements to other companies. Like his word has any value anymore. Listen.
if anybody in radio is listening, and we'll obviously replay this and make fun of me, and
that was us. That was us.
That's okay. Hire Annie because she's amazing, and I always knew just the person you were. I thank you for the show and all that you sacrificed personally and the commuting, which was your.
This is all garbage.
It sounds like she's crying, right? I mean, I'm not missing that, right?
That's Annie crying.
I was gonna say, that sounds like Annie. It's not Jade.
No, but
Jade's
why is
still
Annie?
laughing.
But why is Annie crying?
Oh no, Jade was.
I don't
Jade was what, Brody? You broke up.
Oh, Jade was celebrating. She was not crying.
Yeah.
In fact, here's a little tidbit you're not aware of.
Jade was doing the jerk off motion to Annie's face in the studio.
About 6 months before this happened, I had lunch with Jade. She was trying to get me to come on as producer so that she'd have an ally in the show to help push him along. I was not interested in that. I was very happy where I was, but she was laying the groundwork to get rid of him because he was not a popular person on the show. So she's not upset as this is happening. And by the way, she's brilliantly talented.
At that time, I was talking with Jade too, because when she left for Westwood One, I was supposed to produce her show before Opie fucked all that up. But that was the show I was supposed to go produce right as she left PLJ. Little tidbit there.
No, you must remember that wrong. I heard Opie say that he didn't have anything to do with that. So
yeah, apparently I was wrong.
Yeah,
Tim Sabian was wrong, and Jade was wrong, and Charlie.
If you want to know the truth,
yeah, you weren't even being considered. What are you talking about? No one thought of you. Shut up, you fucking retard.
Driving the van and would do appearances.
All right, there's just it's
no, that's all right. I got what I needed out of that.
Yeah, that was perfect.
After we're done recording, I am going to go listen to the whole thing. But yeah, I needed to hear him crying though. I'm glad we got that in there.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Todd at the Morning Show Boot Camp, which is a radio industry gathering that happens every year in a different city around the United States.
Mm-hmm.
This past year was in Austin, Texas, which lo and behold is where Todd lives. So Todd got invited out. This was interesting. There was a big press release one day that Todd was going to be out there hosting the Broadcasters Foundation of America Media Mixer at Morning Show Boot Camp at the Austin Marriott downtown. And then after the first day, they kept promoting this thing, but they never mentioned Todd's name again. It was one post and then never mentioned Todd's name again. So I didn't know if he was ever going to show up. I'm like, did he say yes? And then all of a sudden he backed out or whatever. So I have friends in low places. I have friends in high places too, but I have friends all around. And I recruited some people. I said, hey, could you do me this kindness? Could you go over, this is Todd. This is what he looks like. Could you get me any photos or videos of whatever he's doing there? So I'm thinking he's going to be fully immersed in the whole boot camp thing because he's not doing anything in radio right now. And this would be a great opportunity to mingle with the younger generation and everybody else. He did not do that. He showed up to the event he was supposed to be at, which was a little cocktail party between 5 and 7 after that day's activities were done for the convention. So between 5 and 7, people are just winding down, having drinks, some cocktail food. They're not really there for a presentation. They're not really there for anything else other than free food, free drinks, and to mingle, to talk to others.
It's just a media mixer.
Yeah. Well, Todd was introduced and was going to give a speech, and he was very disrespected because nobody paid attention to him. Nobody listened to him. I have a couple of videos that were sent to me from some different people. I even have an eyewitness who's going to join us in just a moment to tell us about, man on the street, boots on the ground, eye on the prize, give their account of what it was interacting with Todd. Here's a new photo for you, Brody, to take a look at Todd Pettengill 2025, dressed in the Washington Commanders outfit.
In Austin, Texas.
You have shown this to me before, and that photo is why I agreed to do the podcast tonight, just so I could see it again.
Yes.
In his Washington Commanders outfit with his gold shoes. Right. Hilarious.
So what he's doing, you'll see in the video.
How old is he again?
He's 60-something.
60-something.
He's chastising all the young people that are there drinking, eating, and socializing, a media mixer, for not listening to him. So I'm going to play that video in just a second, but that photo.
And all of his fans are behind him. Look at those three people.
Yeah, the one guy next to him and everybody else is like, there's somebody talking on the microphone. I don't know who this is. Okay, so the first video is just to set up what's going on. He's introduced, doesn't really, this person got a video and then had to run off to something, so got as much as they could and then sent this to me. So this is just to establish him starting to speak. The second video I have is a bit more informational on his attitude and what have you. But here's the first one.
I live in Austin, and he's lucky enough. I gave him a call. He said, I'm happy.
This is Tim McCarthy, the president of the Broadcasters Foundation of America. What this organization is they're a fund to help out broadcasters if they're in areas that were hit by disasters or weather-related tragedies and those kind of things. They have this fund to help out personalities, help out stations, help out wherever in disaster areas, if you will. Like around that time, there was all those flooding and the hurricane that was happening in North Carolina. That in there, so that they were donating funds to people in radio stations, stuff like that needed emergency help, emergency assistance, what have you. So that's what this organization is. Todd is there to explain what the organization is and hopefully rally people to come and donate and be part of the cause.
The girl on the left really seems interested in Todd.
Yeah.
Well, she likes men with no neck to chin.
No neck. Yeah.
Definition.
Look at the guy next to her with the bad iron-on shirt. He's staring at the floor. He's like, all right, get on with this.
He's staring at her ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody, how are you?
Now, this room has several hundred people in it. Listen to how many people were clapping. Maybe 6, 7?
And the sun is in the room, right? That's why he's wearing the sunglasses? Okay.
I'm guessing so.
And there's no one who could have held that drink for him. There's literally no one who could have held that.
So many faces, so many friendly faces, and so many new faces, which means that the business is growing.
If you're having a hard time hearing this, I tried boosting it and cleaning it as much as I could, but he's like so many young faces, so many new faces in here, which means the business is growing.
Yeah.
The business is never been on a worse decline in the history of the business.
You know why?
Last year's boot camp, like days after, there was giant cuts to all kinds of media.
There were cuts as it started.
As we were there, yeah.
Gordon and I were out there in the San Diego one, and SiriusXM had just laid off people. And the following Monday after
SiriusXM?
Yeah, apparently they can be SiriusXM.
Get SiriusXM.
And the following Monday, a lot of these people left to go back to their stations and were let go by iHeart.
Mm-hmm.
Also, wait a minute, my key card doesn't work.
Yeah. Also, Morning Show Boot Camp is popular because it's a lot of unemployed people hoping to hook up with somebody and get a job.
Right.
It doesn't mean you have a job. You went there to network and get one.
Well, then Todd's the perfect person to be there.
And the last several years, the demographic for these conventions has drastically shifted. It's a lot of younger people. The older people don't come to these things anymore. Or if they do, they come to be interviewed on a panel that doesn't mean anything, or they come out there and
bring us your bits. We want to hear all your bits.
Oh, that's
we can steal your bits.
But some of them would be, if they'd walk around, you would approach them They would talk to you. They love waxing poetic about the old days of radio and their history, but they would offer you advice if you were asking for them. Some of the old timers that were out there would be nice. They would be very cool. That's how I met Bob Rivers, legend in radio. And I kept in touch with Bob for the I only met him the last couple of years of his life, but I knew of him for decades. And anytime I wrote him or a BJ Shea or a few other people, they were always very kind, gave advice. They had, interesting stories. They couldn't have been cooler. So some of the older people that were there to get their egos pumped stopped going to these things because nobody gave a shit about who they were anymore. Some of the older ones that were there because they were interested in the business and helping out, what have you. Todd, you would think, all right, he's got nothing going on. He's been at the top of the business for a long time. You think he would have something important to say or some advice to give.
Despite the fact that shitty owners and terrible treatment of talent in this industry. So that just happened.
So he said, the industry's it shows that the industry is growing despite shitty owners and the treatment of talent. So he's thinking he was treated like shit. So, I'm one of you guys. Everyone knows this jackass's story that he pushed out a legend and tanked a company and a station. And he's like, yeah, you know how the owners are. No, fuck. There's no sympathy for you, asshole. You're as bad as the owners are.
That should be my personal opinion, which is why I was here.
Look at the bald spot in the back of his head.
To say that, hello, just give us 2 seconds. Just give us 2 seconds. The only reason I
now what you don't see is
mad
off into the distance is the bar and the food area where all the younger people are commiserating. Yeah. They're talking, they're having a good time, whatever. And he's going, hey, I'm talking. Just give us 2 seconds. I have something important to say. None of them gave a shit about him.
Yeah.
None.
So Todd's problem is that he thinks the world is New York, first of all. Second of all, he hasn't been. What year did he leave PLJ? 2019. 2019. So he hasn't been relevant. He hasn't been relevant in 5 years. He was never a national name, really. And he's expecting people to care about a guy who is no longer on New York radio for 5 years, who they don't even know on a national level. And he's holding court like, hey, I'm Todd Pettengill. I'm a legend.
Yep.
Where? Maybe in New York 10 years ago.
Albany.
So the fact he's still no one's listening. Huge. And all the women in the Niagara Falls area.
Schenectady too, but yeah.
Nothing.
That was a Breakfast Club reference, by the way.
say that, hello, just give us 2 seconds. Just give us 2 seconds. The only reason I really came, number one, is I've known Tim for over.
Listen to the crowd.
Nobody
batted an eye. Nobody shut up. Even that one.
Hey, I dyed my hair for this.
I almost did the same color to match my sneakers.
30 years. And I think the organization, the Broadcasters Foundation of America, it's a terrible acronym, BFOA. But it sounds like something your Tinder date does to you.
Did you hear that?
Home run, Pettengill.
Nailed it.
Fucking name 18 other STDs.
Stuck the landing.
Go.
but it's a great organization nonetheless. And there are so many people in our industry who gave their heart and soul to it and fall on hard times, or the fires and any kind of tragedy.
All right, I brought up the fact that there was that hurricane and the flooding that hit like Tennessee, North Carolina, all of that stuff there. That was currently going on at the time. He couldn't name one current disaster to tie it into what this fund does to help people. He's like fires, or some other kind of disaster.
9/11.
You're there Katrina. For a reason, and you still didn't do
Todd getting
homework.
fired on PLJ.
The Hindenburg.
What about that tragedy? Todd Pettengill getting fired from PLJ. Oh, I'm gonna cry again. Oh.
Yeah, he hands the phone back. He's like, where's my check? He's like, I need help too. Todd, that was 6 years ago, and they sold that station. He's like, yeah, but I'm still in need. Don't you have like multi-million dollars saved up from all of this stuff?
We've seen your pool.
What'd you do with that child protective pool you had?
Yeah, we saw that pool. All right, so that was the first video, and that's where it cut out. So the second one here is where the people still aren't listening, so he starts taking shots at the people.
Before you play it, I like that whoever recorded that for you was like, I know Eric asked me to record. I can't watch this fucking guy anymore. I got enough for him.
Well, I think they were doing other things, so they got as much as they could before having to run to something else. So I can't fault anybody.
Oh, no, I don't either.
I mean, forever thankful for everybody that contributed to this and helped out, because there were even people that couldn't get recordings, but just saw him, eyeballed him, and said, "You're not going to believe what he did here. You're not going to believe what he said there." Then he didn't show up for the rest of the there's stories, and our guest is here. We'll bring her on in a second.
The corner, as you know, everything in this business is cyclical, and it may or may not happen again.
Nothing is cyclical anymore with this business. We're not on a downtrend where it's going to swing back up to greatness. Hollywood is on a downward spiral. Entertainment is in a downward spiral. Media is in a downward spiral. There's no up. We don't see the peak coming up anytime soon.
No,
except for this podcast.
The P1s are going to be back, Eric. All the P1s are going to put their favorite top 40 station as P1.
No rap, though. No hard stuff.
No rap, no hard
Listen,
stuff.
Todd got what he wanted. They turned off their Pandora. So he did get part of his wish.
Right.
And it may or may not happen again. I hope something terrible happens to those people, and they try to contact the foundation, and they go like this: "Yeah, you weren't paying attention, so take your limp out of here."
Man,
wow.
Fat Alex Stein really loves this guy.
Could you believe? All right, so again, this is a thing to raise funds and awareness for this organization that has funds to help out people in media during times of natural disasters and tragedies and what have you. And he just goes, because they're not listening, "I hope something bad happens to those people there because they weren't paying attention." And then they come crying for funds. It's like, "Oh, sorry, you should have been paying attention."
That one in the corner over there, I hope she goes up on a space shuttle that explodes.
Hey, the fat chick over there, she don't look like she could swim if there was a flood or something where she lives. I'm just saying.
Fucking asshole.
By the way, who's running Morning Show Boot Camp that they didn't stop down and draw attention for him? Like, hey, everyone, we got a presentation going on. Did he just grab a microphone and start talking while people were mingling? Because that's what it looks like.
Tim McCarthy started this whole thing. I mean, they're the one running this little mix. They're paying for the mixer, I guess.
Let me float a theory that he was supposed to speak at something else and didn't feel like coming by. So they're like, "All right, we'll just have you talk at the mixer," even though no one paid attention. So I don't know. It's just putting it out there.
Maybe. Let's go back.
What happens to those people? And they try to contact the foundation, and they go like this: "Yeah, you weren't paying attention, so take your limp out of here." So please, when you're thinking about making charitable contributions, and everyone in this room knows like a few rich people, and some of you are in that category already.
The majority of the room are younger people in radio not making six figures or not working and are looking for employment, so they're networking and mingling. And
most of them are doubling up on the room rate just so they can stay in fucking Austin.
Right.
And they're taking Morning Show Boot Camp food and putting it in their pockets to take home to the hotel.
Right. It's like, "I'm pointing at you guys, and I'm seeing a lot of young, a lot of rich people here that could be donating to this thing." A lot of these people need that money, and no disasters were happening to them.
I would say the majority of the people are unemployed regardless of their age. And then they had to choose, do I go to Morning Show Boot Camp or do I go to Podcast Movement? I can only afford, I can't afford either, but I'm only spending money on one of them.
I was going to say every one of them right now are already socking away for next year's just to have the time to get the money to do it.
Maybe the guy in the $1,000 suit and shoe combination there should donate some money. Maybe give that suit to charity to auction off.
Or come with one of those big novelty checks to lead by example. Ooh. It's like, look, I'm donating $25,000 to this thing here. We're going to have a sign-up sheet. If you're interested, come and talk to us. Anything. Doesn't say anything to entice not just the young people, anybody to take any kind of action to join and help out this organization.
Hey, come up here. I'll match the first $25,000 donated, right? Come up.
Something. Yeah, nothing.
he's talking. But instead of going to Goodwill and filling out those fake receipts where you donated all your T-shirts in an old dresser, and you're like, oh, $2,500 is what I gave in contributions. Give it to your brothers and sisters. Give it to yourself, because this organization is so amazing, and I'm looking forward to doing more with you guys because I think it's so important. It's kind of like, and then I'll let you go because we're competing with live radio shows.
What?
They've already gone.
I'm gonna let you go. They're not even there to be let go.
Yeah.
Also, he's telling him, hey, you know what? Donate your old T-shirts. Hey, if my house is wiped out in a flood, the last thing I want is a K-Rock T-shirt. Oh, look, I got nothing to wear. I got Kiss FM Iowa. I got their T-shirt. Thank you. Thanks for donating your old T-shirts.
Who's Bob and Tom? And why are their heads so enormously large on this shirt?
Bob and Shari. Oh, I got a Bob and Shari shirt.
Listen to also, too, compared to the last video where everybody started, people were already starting to leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little quieter.
Yeah, I'm going to let you go. Hey, you people with your backs to me walking out the door, I'm going to let you go in a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to doing more with you guys because I think it's so important. It's kind of like, and then I'll let you go because we're competing with 5 radio shows over there.
Oh, that was
all more successful than you.
Some of them. Remember how we set up our show?
Yeah.
To do the live broadcast and stuff. And the organizers came over. Mike McVeigh had stopped by to see that we were doing, and he didn't understand why more people weren't doing that. And I was like, I don't know. It's not my job to tell people how to do their stuff. We do what we do. Apparently other people were setting up podcast and stuff and recording at the thing, which is what they should be doing. So either he's making a joke about 5 other radio shows over there because everyone else is talking because they don't give a shit about what he's saying, or there were some setups where people were actually recording and doing stuff and talking about stuff where they don't give a shit about what he's saying. Either way, nobody gives a shit about what he's saying.
It sort of reminds me of that old story, and I'm sure you know it. This guy falls down in a hole, right? He's 30 feet down in a hole. And he's screaming for somebody to help him. Just help me, help me. Well, a doctor walks by and he looks down the hole, right? And he writes a prescription out and he drops it down the hole and he walks on. It's not going to do me any good. Help! The guy's screaming for another 10 minutes. And a priest walks by. And he writes out a prayer and he drops it down the hole and he keeps walking.
This is a long time.
Then Tim McCarthy walks by. And he jumps down in the hole. The guy says, what the hell are you doing? Now we're both down here. And Tim says, yeah, but I know the way out and I can help. And that's what the Broadcasters Foundation.
How about dropping a rope?
Thank you all very much.
What's that fat fuck going to do to anybody? He's going to jump down the hole and kill them. What does the guy need a prescription and a prayer? He's jumping down in the hole? How about you go get a rope and a pulley system? What are you doing?
Well,
even if Tim jumped down with donations, what is that going to do for the guy in the hole?
No, you hire
here's
Steve
$100
to dig a tunnel.
Well, I've got 20 Jack FM T-shirts, and we can tie them together and then try and climb out,
or hang ourselves.
Could you imagine you're stuck in a well? Someone just hangs themselves right next to you.
Now,
I guess whatever.
So he finishes up there. People were already leaving.
Oh.
I'm going to bring on our mystery guest here, who was an eyewitness to a lot of these things, and she's going to tell us her account of how people dealt with Todd, her interaction with Todd, and there was a karaoke thing that did not go the way that it was supposed to. Let me bring.
By the way, whoever filmed this for you, it would have been great if they just turned the camera
just
for a second,
just
to see who was ignoring him as they were ignoring him.
All right, let Eric bring Jade on the show.
Beggars can't be choosers. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
So, mystery guest, you were at this event that Todd Pettengill had just given this terrible speech about.
I was.
Can you describe the people on the other side of the room that were blatantly ignoring him?
Yeah, it was pretty much like, I don't know, there was probably like 100, 150 people my age between 26 and 36. And for the most part, there was like two people that had actual like broadcasts going. They had like little screens behind them that, you know, said like MSBC radio, and there was like a couple of very specific I guess you could say podcasts. And then the rest of it was literally just people hanging out, talking. There was a couple of, like, we're at the very end here where you can see everyone standing. There's one bar at the back, and they'd already started closing it, and they'd already taken the food away. So this was like the mixer. Like, I was wandering in the back because I was sort of just, I was really awkward because I didn't know, I hadn't talked to people in forever because COVID ruined my life, and I've just been like stuck at home. So this was like my first big outing. And so I was just wandering through trying to like find people who looked like they wanted to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. And we were literally at the very back here. And so behind me is just people standing at the booths with like the free merch or the businesses or whatever. And it was mostly just people talking to the other businesses.
There was a lot of other things going on and other people to talk to rather than listening to Todd speak.
Yeah, and no one knew that he was going to talk. Like, they kind of
Can I ask you, mystery guest, had you ever heard the name Todd Pettengill before this event?
Once, yes, because I was watching Eric's show.
That is probably how most people know about him, Eric.
Todd gives this speech. Everybody's pretty much ignoring him. He's standing there by a couple people by his lonesome, essentially. Did anybody after this go up and approach Todd to talk to him?
Like one or two people, and one of the guys walked away, and I saw him later, and he was complaining about it because he was like, I've met Todd 6 times, and every time he's like, hey man, nice to meet you. Like, how you doing in the business? You know, how long have you been in radio? I had no idea who that guy was.
Nice to meet you, meatballs.
Like he didn't really, Todd did not look like he gave a shit about any of us there. He didn't really want to talk to anybody. I tried to walk up and introduce myself, and I think I bumped into him over the course of the next day, like 2 or 3 times, and he had no idea who I was.
I got told from another person that after hearing the speech or something, went over to him because, all right, this guy's a name or a veteran of the radio game. And she went over to talk to him, and he was saying hi, and I forgot what it was she asked him, and he was under the impression that she knew who he was. And I think he asked her something along the lines, and she said, oh no, I just, you were here speaking, so I had a question. And he went, oh, and then turned around and stopped talking to her, and then eventually walked away. So younger people that are there looking to talk to people with experience or get some kind of advice or what have you, he wasn't interested in talking to this lady anymore because she didn't know who he was. So he was like, whatever, and left.
Actually, yeah, I think that was one of the people that I had been talking to. Like there was like 3 or 4 of us who were like brand new, like just got into radio. And so we were excited to just meet folks in the industry. I did not tell anybody that I was going to take a video or anything. But yeah, he just like did not interact with folks and was mad if people came up and did not know him. Like he was irritated. And when he walked up to get the microphone, he came strolling up like he was a real big somebody. And I personally thought there would be more people, I don't know, excited or interested. But as soon as he had a microphone, people were like, ugh. Like, there was just a bunch of people who were like, oh, okay.
Oh,
and
so they did know him.
Well,
those are the people that knew him.
Let's go back a year to San Diego where Delilah was there, and there were lines of people wanting to meet Delilah. And even me, like I didn't grow up in a ton of radio. I've heard of Delilah and stuff like that. Even I knew that this was a big deal, and I got my picture with Delilah, and I love it.
Jordan wound up in some promotional stuff.
I did. It was
that
amazing.
photo with her and Delilah.
Yeah,
with him and Delilah.
But like, just like that's the level of people that would know who that was. Like, just the fact that no one knows who Todd was, and he thought he was that swinging dick in Austin to be like super important, just makes me laugh.
So this all kind of wraps up. Again, it was only like 2 hours, but it didn't last even that long because, as she said, the bars were starting to close up early and the food was being taken away.
Yeah, which is how you can clear a room of radio people. Oh, the free food is gone. So
we don't need
Todd and Mike and get rid of the food. Yeah.
I have a question for Mystery Voice.
Yes.
Based on how radio pays most people, did you take any of the food from Morning Show Boot Camp back to your hotel?
No, I was allergic to a lot of the stuff they had and couldn't eat almost anything. So I was really bummed personally.
Okay, so Todd finishes speaking. The room's clearing out while he's talking. You told me that there was a side room to this foyer that was set up for karaoke.
Yes.
Can you explain what this all was?
So like they had the main like conference space, and then there was another room like down the hallway near the bathrooms. And Todd was telling people as he was walking out, like, oh yeah, you got to come to karaoke. We're doing karaoke at 9. And so I was like, oh, cool. Like my boyfriend's not off work until at least 10:30. And so I was just there to hang out. And I was really excited to go do some karaoke and just kind of like hang out and creep on people. And I never saw anybody come back. Like once they went downstairs, there was like a couple people that came, back around. They set some stuff up for the conference for the next day. But I never personally saw anybody go into the karaoke space. And the rooms are not necessarily soundproof. Like you can hear them pretty well if the doors are even cracked, but like you would hear like a little bit of muffling, but there was no music. I was there till after midnight, talking to a couple of folks just like right at the top of the escalators, and there was nothing. Everybody just kind of left. And I think I saw him go into the room and talk to a couple of people, and then there was no music. I didn't see. We peeked in the room and it was set up for karaoke, but there was nobody there. And so we were like, oh, maybe they moved it downstairs or something, or maybe it's later. I don't know. Like,
so they set it up for after the hours of the mixer, where like Jordan was saying, you're in Austin, great food in Austin. So and nightlife. So people who are not from Austin want to go explore the city.
Yeah, so well, we weren't far from Dirty Six, so that's where pretty much everybody went. Everyone went to the drag bars and the gay bars and the dirty bass bars. And it was all like maybe, 15 minutes down the road if you walked. There's all kinds of like main Austin things to do. And I like the whole conference, I saw it walk down the way. Like you look out the windows from up there and you could see the radio people just like in groups, big groups. Like they all left immediately. It was 7:30. There was nobody upstairs. It was just me and a couple other folks.
It sounded to me like the event had actually been moved to Cleveland, where the next Morning Show boot camp will be held.
Yeah, he'll be there waiting right as the conference starts off. Karaoke, everybody. Wait, what? Who are you? What is going on? Yeah, this should have been tied into after his speech is done. Music should have been playing, or they could have had somebody already starting the karaoke while everyone was there. Everything about this was, and I'm not blaming the conference people. I'm blaming this individual event was poorly planned, and of course, Todd had to be the face of this thing here. Now, from what I understand, this all happens or doesn't happen. The karaoke is a complete bust. Todd does not show up for the remainder of the conference. He's at none of the other events. He's at none of the panels. He's not involved at all. So
he wasn't at the battle. He wasn't at the battle test.
I didn't see him after that.
Were they battle test their microphones?
Not at all. He didn't show up for anywhere. You think at least for an ego boost, you would have walked around the conference for the next couple days, talking to other radio veterans, or hoping that, to talk to younger people, maybe make connections, maybe, I don't know, figure out something career-wise. Did nothing. Just left and went back to his farmhouse and was never seen again.
What's frustrating about knowing the timeline of when this speech happened, how come they didn't have him say a few words either at the beginning of the mixer or like halfway through? Why do it right at like 7-ish? Right when the mixer's supposed to wind down, get the bad food out of there. Why is he talking then?
I don't think it was planned, personally.
Yeah.
I don't think it was planned to have him come speak. I think he had come, but I think he'd come to like hang out or do something besides the karaoke, because the other gentleman that was talking about the mixer, not the one that's standing next to him, but there was one more gentleman who was like talking about like the whole mixer and the event, and just sort of a welcome, thanks for hanging out, mingle, hang out, whatever, have a good time, have a good rest of the thing, just big introduction. And then Todd came up, and I think these two ended up deciding to have a conversation, but I don't know that it was planned, because I don't remember hearing anything prior. And we were all standing there just kind of hanging out, and then they put up the speakers and everybody was like, "Ooh, what's about to happen?" And then that's what happened. And everybody was like, "Oh, okay."
Nothing happened.
It might as well have been John Cusack with a boombox.
By the way, you are much more polite than people in our generation, because you're referring to these. Oh, this gentleman was here, and there was another gentleman, and we were like, "This friggin' guy, that fat fuck in the suit." There's another fat old guy.
This asshole.
This maroon looking like a buffoon.
Yeah, you're like this one gentleman, and he was standing next to another gentleman. You're so polite. So kudos to you.
Oh, thank you. I try my best. Like everybody was super nice to me.
Yeah,
like
it's why you have a job.
Except Todd.
Yeah, I was like,
everybody was nice to her except Todd.
And it sounds like Todd was nice for Todd. He was probably he didn't use any profanity towards anyone.
It seems like he toned down his bitterness a little bit, so he was on a civil level.
I think with the microphone, at least.
Probably because people
5 minutes
were around.
after, he was loud and rude and just like was just complaining that nobody was listening. He felt so disrespected that people left. And a couple of folks were like, "I don't know if anyone knew you were here. Like the atrium's really hard to hear. This hallway we're in is real small. It's real slender. And the sound, the acoustics were so bad. Oh my God. I thought my eardrums were going to blow. It was so loud. And even with like 15 people, it gets loud."
Yeah, but when he said nobody's listening to him, did he mean right there or when he's on the radio?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually what I was about to say, is that he should be used to no one listening to him. He's got like 30 years of that.
Mystery guest, is there anything else that needs to be said to wrap up this experience with Todd Pettengill?
The only thing that really made me want to say something, and I didn't, because I got a lot of gay friends in fashion. What are those shoes? Like this, I can accept the suit. I like the color. It does not fit him, but the shoes? Like, sir, wear something that complements, like a nice brown or like a solid, like dark color. He could have gone with green, like a forest green, but those yellow shoes are just,
I mean,
and Texas is not the place.
I was going to say those shoes should only be worn on signing day for Tennessee Volunteers. That's really the only time I can imagine.
I think it was that he's found them on clearance at a Foot Locker when he strolls the mall in the morning, when he does his morning walks with the rest of the old people. He found them on clearance at Foot Locker, and he's like, "Oh, this looks like this looks young and hip. This will make me stand out if I wear these two events." And swing and a miss.
I mean, he certainly stood out.
His favorite TikToker wore them, so he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna wear these."
Well, thank you, mystery guest. Thank you very much for your insight on all of this.
Give it all your socials.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what are your socials, mystery guest?
No, let's not do that. I'm sorry you had to interact with Todd, but believe me, I am forever grateful for this information.
If it makes you feel better, he doesn't remember it, so you don't have to worry about it.
I don't think he would have. Like I said, I bumped into him a couple times in the 10 or 15 minutes he was there, and it was like I introduced myself more than once, and I was like, I'm literally standing right next to you, but that's fine. It's fine. Like I don't care.
Now you know how Monkey Boy felt.
Yeah. Well, he'll karaoke because it was all his parodies, so you just had to sing his stuff.
Yeah.
He will definitely remember this as this comes out now, and nobody's going to tag at Todd Pettengill on Instagram to let him know that this exists. So
I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that either. Mystery guest, thank you very much.
Whatever
you may
you
go
don't do that.
resume your life, and thank you again. We appreciate it.
Thank you, mystery guest.
All right.
Yeah, and check her out on the Mike and Katie Morning Show.
Guys, we're going to have to wrap it up here for Jocktober Supplemental. There was so much more to get to, but we don't have time for it.
We don't have time for everything that he
We'll have to do a part 2
of
Todd Pettengill for Jocktober Supplemental. We'll have you guys come back. We'll record it another time. And we've got his wrestling stuff. We've got all these solo videos that he was putting out there, trying to be witty, trying to be an influencer. I have original song cuts. We have his parody song cuts. I have a song of him trying to do Caribbean calypso style music. It's all kinds of embarrassing.
He's the Steven Seagal of radio.
Yeah, I mean, and I'd like to talk about, how he decided he was going to do a podcast and charge people $9.55 a month for it.
That is true.
Yeah. So
that is true.
There's so much Todd.
And I'd like to talk about the phone scam he did on the women's hospital where he called up as gynecologist.
Again, that's too clever, Brody. You're not fitting the scheme. It's got to be something like you smashed a keyboard together, and my name is Mr. Tzipzorp.
Yeah.
What?
Well, yeah, he did do that.
Oh, no. Now you have to go back to your planet, and Superman rules the day. Oh, no.
I'm sorry to tell you, you've just been phone scammed. That lady in the parking lot. Brought to you by...
Yes, can I speak to Bob, please? It's Ken Alingus. Tell him Mr. Alingus is on the phone. Ken Alingus, can I get
playing this again
married?
at 8:15, 8:45, 9:25, and 9:55. Scott Todd in the... We got to get out here. We have to do plugs. Christian, we'll start with you.
Oh my goodness. You can find my personal podcast, The Bladtcast, BLADTCAST. You can find it on YouTube. You can also find it wherever you find audio podcasts. And a big show that I'm a part of is called Who Are These Broadcasters? Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. It also exists as an audio podcast. And in the interest of radio, I need to promote the one thing that I do that actually makes me real money. 100 Songs That Define Heavy Metal is a podcast that I co-created, pitched, and produce, hosted by Brian Slagle, the CEO of Metal Blade Records. And each episode focuses on a heavy metal song. So please check that out wherever you find podcasts.
Thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate it. Mr. Brody, tell us about the Brooklyn Boys podcast.
Find the Brooklyn Boys podcast wherever you get your fine podcasts. It's a comedy podcast hosted by me and Scary Jones from the Elvis Duran Morning Show, my former coworker. We're two guys from Brooklyn who talk about life and pop culture from a very sarcastic, annoyed attitude. Think of Larry David, but more annoyed and more annoying. That's us, the Brooklyn Boys podcast.
All right, Jordan, what do you got?
Instagram, YouTube, X at Jinx Ronan, Twitch at Jinx Ronan 79, where I maybe play video games every now and then. But then otherwise, I'm here with you on It's Eric Nagel.
What about the Amazon thing?
Yeah, fuck that shit. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, if you got an Amazon, if you got an Amazon subscription, you want to go over to It's Eric Nagel over on Twitch. You can use that subscription to get a free 1 month premium subscription to the show. You got to re-up every month, but you know what? You're already listening anyway. You're not paying anything extra. Just help us out a little bit.
All right. And for me and for the show, It's Eric Nagel across the board on all the social medias. If you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, do us a kindness. Put us in the #1 position on the presets. We're told it means something to somebody. If you're on Apple and Spotify, any of those places, you can go over there and do us a kindness. Leave us a positive review. It does help out the program. You can join us live each and every week as we do this program in our live rooms on YouTube and on Twitch, all under It's Eric Nagel. And if you can't do any of that stuff and you can only catch this stuff whenever you have time, we get it. You have a life. How dare you? The YouTube channel is the place to be at It's Eric Nagel. All right. That is it, everybody. Guys, again, thank you for being here. Jordan, until the next time, everybody.
Be excellent to each other.
And we'll be seeing you.
It's Eric Nagel.
I really did the best under the circumstances of a person who hates people and yet had to be amongst them.
It's Eric Nagel.
Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Eric Nagel on social media platforms. For ways to watch and listen to the show, or join us for the live shows, head over to itsericnagel.com. Yo, and remember to tell 2 friends, so they can tell 2 friends, and they can tell 2 friends, they can tell 2 friends, they can tell 2 friends. You get the idea.
Keep it real, homies.